Northwest Georgia football scoreboard show. I'll be running solo here until somebody jumps in, but we'll give everybody a few seconds to get in here. Big night of high school football around the Northwest Georgia area. Like always, man, plenty of upsets, and I guess the big news of the night: Model Blue Devils went up to Tryon, man, upset the Tryon Bulldogs, 31-27 as 33-point underdogs, and that actually qualifies them as the upset of the century, upset of the last 5 years since we've been keeping up with this. 33-point underdog, winning on the road. I know this week we were all talking about the model defense. We thought the model defense would be good enough to play with Tryon, but we didn't think the offense would score enough points. Hey, the offense proved us wrong tonight. 31-27. Hats off to the model Blue Devils. Um, I was at the Rockmart Irwin County game tonight, man. Incredible game. Two really good teams, well coached teams, tons of athletes on the field. Irwin County came away with a 28-14 win. Um, Penalties, once again, was the name of the game for Rockmart. They had a 67-yard touchdown called back in the first quarter and a 57-yarder called back in the third quarter on holding penalties. But, I mean, that's something they'll have to get worked out going forward. KK says, Dade County 14-0 against Swain, North Carolina, up in Bryson City. Um, I saw the stats from that game. I mean, Dade outgained them 400 something yards to 120. Second impressive road win in a row for the Dade County team. Got a tough one next weekend with Darlington coming in. They got Darlington trying back to back in the region play next 2 weeks. But we said week one, man. I was waiting on that Dade County defense to come around, and I thought they had the offense to compete. I just wasn't sure if they had the defense. Uh, Three really impressive weeks in a row for the Wolverine defense. For those in the car, can't see the scoreboard. I'll read some of these scores off. Uh, Murphy, North Carolina, 30. Fannin County, 56. Score's a little misleading. Fannin was up 56-7 early. Haralson County lost to Upson Lee, 29-15. Model, like we said, 31-27 over Tryon. Chattooga gets their first win of the season, 28-7 over Murray County. Irwin County, 28. Rockmart, 14. Brookstone beat Mount Zion, 33-10. Score we just mentioned, Dade County, 14-0 over Swain. Pepperell lost at Temple, 35-28. Coosa, 2 wins in a row for the Eagles, 31-14 over Towns County. Rabun, 42. Heard County, 13. I think Hurd played them pretty well for about a quarter and a half. I think one time I looked, it was like 21-6 in the second quarter. Carrollton, 48-0 over Jenkins. North Paulden keeps rolling, goes to 4-1, 55-7 over Pope. Still waiting on a final from Paulden County Noonan. Villa Rica, 42. Tri-Cities, 13. South Paulden, East Paulden, still waiting on the final on that one, man. Paulden County, for some reason, is a hard place to get scores from. Cartersville, 49. Heritage Conyers, nothing. Calhoun beats Cross County rival Sonoraville, 40-7. Dalton, in a surprise, 35-3 over Lassiter. Darlington, Northwest Whitfield, 41-33. Central beats Northgate, 27-17. Southeast Whitfield outlasts our Murchie, 28-21. Coahulla Creek, man, the Creek still rolling, 35-14 over Ridgeland. Bremen, 14. Gordon Lee, 7. Ringgold, 42. Lafayette, 21. Adairsville, 42. LFO, 20. Pickens scores late to beat Christian Heritage, 24-22. And that gets you caught up on all the scores. Like I said, we're still waiting on the two Paulden County scores. Uh, Great game between Temple and Pepperell, I bet, man. Every time I was checking the scoreboard, the game was going back and forth. Um, I'm sure Cam Newton played a huge role in that. Like I said, on paper, those two teams are pretty much even coming into the week. I think we all picked Pepperell on our Pick'em show. I mean, you can't count Temple out of any game. Those guys are talented. Yeah, how about those Purple Tigers, man? Quarterback from Northwest Whitfield, Owen Brooker, is one of the best I've seen in a long time. Man, I hear that from a lot of people. Last year, the Cedartown people sent me messages after their game, and they're like, "Man, have you ever seen this quarterback for Northwest Whitfield? He's got to be one of the best we've played." Um, I know the halftime score in that game was 27-7. The Darlington was up. Um, they came back in the second half, made it a game. Huge win for the Purple Tigers. They start region play next weekend, making the trip up to Dade County. They'll be on their way to Trenton. Should be a good game. Always a tough place to play. South Paulding beat East Paulding 37-27. Yeah, I saw that score earlier, man. East Paulding was actually leading, and I was surprised by that one. But yeah, South Paulding on the board. It says Pepperell had 2 turnovers. That was the difference in the game. Yeah, and in a close game like that, man, always turnovers are going to play a huge, huge part. Let's see what we got here. Carrollton, 2 shutouts in a row. Possibility of 3 next week. Bakari Swain had a big game for Central. They have a bye next week for a big game at Cedartown. And Temple, big win over Pepperell. Yeah, that was a huge win for Dalton tonight, man. They went down to Laster. Laster has a Georgia State football commit at quarterback. And on paper, you saw what Seth Griffin did to him in the air week 1. Man, I thought Laster would light them up with the pass game tonight, and it didn't work out that way, man. Dalton, 2 pick sixes in the second half, held Laster to 3 points. Makes that game next Friday real interesting, man. Dalton's traveling to Cedartown, which should be a good game. Tyson Greenwade versus that Cedartown defense will be huge. Yeah, like I said, if you just joined in, I guess the big news of the night, man, Model Blue Devils defeat Tryon at Tryon, 31-27. Like I said, I don't have any totals on it. I know that Daniel Jolly scored a couple of touchdowns. Huge win for the Model Blue Devils, man. They start region play next week, I think, against Murray County. And I'm gonna stick by what I said this week, man. I said if Model were to win that game tonight, Model would be the 2 seed in 7AA. And I'm gonna have to stick to it, man. Let's get Charles in here, man. He'll tell us about Heard County, how they handled the Raven Wildcats tonight. Welcome, Charles.
How you doing, Lawrence?
Good, man. I saw you guys played them tough for about a quarter and a half, huh?
Well, about a quarter and 30 seconds. We we shut them down in the first quarter. They had about -1 or 2 yards offense the first quarter. We went to some old school Heard County offense, eating up the clock. The best defense against that Raven offense is to keep them over on the sidelines. And we scored on first play of the second quarter on a 4th and goal, and kind of went downhill after that. 2 plays later, Raven had about a 70-something yard touchdown pass, and they converted an extra point. Ours had been blocked, and they took the lead, and they never looked back from there.
What did you think about that quarterback?
He's good. He's got a great arm. He's not very mobile. So, we're a team who's got a good rush and some decent DBs to stay on the receivers. They'll have problems against teams like that. We hurried him a few times, and he had some issues on some of the hurries. But that receiver, number 6, forget his name off the top of my head, he was something else. And player number 4 on their team, he was good. And their number 7, their running back, he just quickness hitting the hole, not super power, but he just quickness to squirt through a hole. So they got a good team. I don't think they'll take state. Just my opinion from them tonight. But they'll be deep in the playoffs. They may be competing for state, but I don't. There's a couple of teams out there that's going to take care of them come the end of it.
Yeah. I think as of now they're ranked second behind Prince Avenue Christian. I have no idea what Prince Avenue has, but I'm sure they're loaded once again.
I think Prince Avenue knocked off Elka tonight, from what I saw. So
Who do you guys have coming up next?
we got Clarkston. So
At home or on the road?
at home, we're home next week at with Clarkston, and then the week after that we go to McIntosh. And of course, they're going to be another high flying act because their quarterback right now is the top ranked coming into this week with the most yards in the state. So at least tonight gave us a warm up to face that in 2 weeks.
I guess you saw your foe Temple Tigers won tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Coach Nix has really turned that team around this year. Cam Vaughn playing like crazy, and
Cam's just always been fun to watch. Even when you play against him, you just admire what he does out there, and he's definitely having a good year this year. And then Lamar, they won tonight too, so I guess they're still undefeated.
Yeah.
So
I think they were ranked 8th in the state coming in.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think on paper right now, you got Lamar at 1, then it has Hurd and Temple fighting it out for that 2 and 3 spot.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We've just got to be to put a complete game together. Against Bremen, we had a decent part of the third quarter and a really good fourth quarter. Of course, Midtown, they're just not a good club, so it's kind of hard to gauge. And then, but Callaway, we had a great first half, even though we were down 7-0 at halftime. I mean, we were playing there really well. And then at night, we just had a lights out first quarter. And, like, we could just string these together for a game. Then, we might be able to be all right in this. But if we keep just playing part of a game, we're going to have problems going down the stretch.
I'm sure that probably comes from the youth too, huh? You guys have a lot of young guys out there, right?
Yeah, definitely playing a lot of young guys, a lot of sophomores, a few freshmen, and heavy on the juniors.
Yeah, I have to agree here. It says, Jake said, Raven making the long trip to West Georgia and scoring 40+ points. Says a lot about them. Tough team.
Yeah, I mean they're good. I'm not trying to take a dig at them, but I mean they're going to go deep in the playoffs. But I think somebody like Prince Avenue is going to take them out. As long as you got some backs that can stay on their receivers pretty decent, and 1 or 2 good rush guys, Raven's going to have some issues.
Yeah, I saw some of the scores from down there in your neck of the woods, man. I guess Bremen won 14-7, which was a huge win for them up at Gordon Lee. That gets them off on the right foot. And Harrelson lost to Upson Lee 29-15.
Wow.
I think that was a surprise. I mean, Upson Lee was 0-4 coming in. I don't know that much about them other than the record. But
yeah, I know Upson Lee's usually good in basketball, and okay in football, but.
And Brookstone beat Mount Zion, which I don't think was a big upset. I think Brookstone was ranked number 2 in GIAA. I just saw a picture of their new stadium down there, man. You got a GIAA stadium with, I mean, it's beautiful,
Yeah, and wish they would have stayed with us, because they would have been in our region this year. I was kind of looking forward. I've seen Brookstone's fans before playing Landmark, and their fans were a lot of fun. They actually bust up a whole bunch of kids all the way up to Fairburn from Columbus for the game, and created a really good atmosphere. It was a lot of fun.
Alrighty, well, let me read these scores off here for people just joining us. Calhoun 40, Sonoraville 7, Dalton 35-3 over Lassiter. Darlington hangs on to beat Northwest Whitfield 41-33. Central, team from your area, man, 27-17 over Northgate. Southeast Whitfield 28-21 over Armurchie. Color Creek 35, Ridgeland 14, Bremen 14-7 over Gordon Lee. Ringgold 42-21 over Lafayette. Adairsville 42-20 over LFO. Picking scores late to beat Christian Heritage 24-22. Fannin 56-30 over Murphy, North Carolina. Game we mentioned, Upson Lee over Haralson County. Upset of the night, upset of the half decade, Model over Tryon 31-27. Chattooga 28-7 over Murray County. Irwin County 28, Rockmart 14. Game we mentioned, Brookstone 33, Mount Zion 10. Dade County goes up to Bryson City, comes away with a 14-0 win. Temple in a shootout with Pepperell 35-28. Coosa over Towns County 31-14. And the game that Charles was talking about, Rabun 42-13 over Heard County. Let's get Chris in here. He was at Murray County Chattooga game tonight. I'm sure he's got some comments about the Model Tryon game and other games around the area.
So I heard it was close. What happened?
I don't know, man. I got to go investigate. I know they kept battling back and forth. It was 10-10 at halftime. Tryon took a 27-24 lead late, and then Model scored.
Wow.
Towards the end of the fourth quarter to win 31-27. It has knocked North Murray off the throne as the biggest upset in the last 5 years.
Wow. And that was a big one. So
that was a big one.
Hats off to Model. That was unexpected. I thought Tryon was rolling. I didn't think they'd overlook anybody. So Model, wow. You guys are the champs now of
Chris
that biggest upset.
Chris M says the biggest upsets of the night, ? Well, I mean, the biggest one is Model over Tryon. That's definitely the
last upset of this size happened in 2019.
Yeah.
If he wants to know how big this upset was.
This upset was so big that all we talked about this week was if Tryon was going to win 28-0 or 35-0.
Yeah,
that was the debate, you know.
That's something else.
Let me just scroll down the list here and see if I see any other upsets on the night. But
look at Dade County heading up to North Carolina, taking the win.
Pickens upset Christian Heritage on paper. Pickens was 11.5-point underdog, scored late to beat Christian Heritage 24-22.
Nice.
I heard that was Sam Stryker. He's a pretty good quarterback.
Temple was a 7-point underdog. They beat Pepperell by 7. I mean, slight underdog. You had to call an upset. And the only Coosa upset Towns County. Coosa was a 12-point underdog, and they got
good for them. Good for them.
That's about it. I mean, you had Darlington. They were a 3.5-point underdog. I mean, that's pretty much a toss-up in the grand scheme of things. But they held on to beat Northwest 41-33.
So Calhoun finally has got it together now. I see.
40-7. Yeah.
Big night for Dalton. I heard Tyson Greenway did a lot of big things.
Yeah, I was. I told you my friend, lives down the area, and that quarterback for Lassiter is a Georgia State commit. This is the one thing I don't understand about recruiting. He says Dalton defense tore him up tonight.
Wow.
I mean, kid threw 2 pick sixes, couldn't score, couldn't move the ball, and then Seth, he threw for what, 300-something yards against Dalton?
Yeah.
And this kid's got a Georgia State offer, and Seth's still looking for his first.
Makes no sense. Division One. Yeah.
Makes no sense to me, you know.
Yep.
Let's get Tim in here, man. Let's find out about these Fannin County Rebels.
I'm a happy man tonight, boys. Man, that was sweet.
Tell us about the first quarter, man. What happened?
What didn't happen?
How do you score that much in one quarter?
I'll be honest with you. I was a public address announcer, and I forgot that we were scoring so much. Just unbelievable. I gotta be really careful about what I say here, but Fannin was up at halftime, 56-7. It's kind of an unwritten rule. You put your JV players in, your freshmen, the other team does too. And the other team we played tonight didn't do that until the whistle sounded at the end of the fourth quarter. But hats off to Fannin County, a big win. They need this head into region play, and all of a sudden, Region 7AA is now kind of, in my opinion, looking a little bit stronger. We kind of, the first few weeks of play, we're like, Region 7AA may not be as good as we think. Well, hey, big wins today for Model and Fannin tonight over those North Carolina schools that are, historically pretty well. So, man, just happy for Dade County to get that win over Swain. And obviously, Fannin getting that win over Murphy tonight. Corbin Davenport, Carson Callahan, golly, bum the games they had. Elijah Weaver played well at the quarterback position for the Rebels today again. Just another complete victory for the Rebels tonight.
Somebody said the Model upset was almost as big as Texas keeping it close with Bama. Yeah.
Dude, good for those guys, man.
How about that, man? I was telling Chris, before you came on, that all we talked about this week was if Tryon was going to win 28-0 or if they're going to win 35-0,
Yeah.
And
all of a sudden, hey, in 2 weeks, Fannin and Model, it's going to be a football game.
It's going to be a football game. I think you guys open with Gordon Central next week.
Yeah, we got Gordon Central.
And Model is at Murray County. So.
Yep. So I was up there at Murray tonight. I saw Tim done headed out. I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
He went to score another touchdown. So I watched Murray County. They hosted Chattooga tonight, and I saw Benton. So Paul was up there in the booth announcing the game, and it was a big win for Chattooga. It was 28-7 win. Murray County struggled. They struggled to hold on if I can pull it up real quick. They struggled to stop one guy in particular, Corey Gibson. I forgot his name. I tweeted it all night long. I think kid threw a couple touchdown passes and ran for a couple touchdowns. So he had a big night, and Murray County struggled to stop him. So there was a pretty good highlight there for Murray County, a reason to cheer there in the third quarter. Aaron Flood, who was playing quarterback, Murray County's had some injuries. He was playing quarterback, and he hit freshman Nate Perry on a touchdown pass. I think it was fourth down on that touchdown pass. But he is about 20 yards out, and he was getting chased out of the pocket and threw one up. I posted the video on my Twitter, and it was a great catch. So it was cool to see Nate Perry get his first varsity touchdown. Chase Jarvis, he worked hard. I talked to a lot of these guys after the game, and they seemed a little bit down, but I think they all had one thing to say: we're going to get back to work. We got region play coming up, and everybody's 0-0. So it's a new season starting next Friday, and that was the attitude with everybody. It's what you like to see.
Yep. What's up, Mr. Burge?
Nothing much. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I had some upset specials tonight, huh?
The upset special of the night. Model over Tryon.
That's got to be the upset of the year.
That's the upset of the year, upset of the decade, upset of the.
Yeah.
According to some people. Now there'll be some that say, not an upset, but I think it was an upset.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Massey, Maxwell, and Cal Preps, all the computers thought that was a big upset.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the body of work from the season, you have to say it's a big upset. I mean, Model, yes, got to win against Woodlands, but I mean, they came out and lost to Pepperell the next week, 28-0. So, kind of took some of the tarnish off that win, and Model got beat by Pepperell, and
man, some of these teams I just don't know. I have no idea. To be honest with you. I mean, I know they're high school kids. And you really don't think about it, but a lot of matchups too. How does one team match up with the other? That could make a big difference in the game. Honestly, I thought Tryon had the advantage on both sides of the ball, but it seems as though not.
Here's a fun fact for you. Model had only scored 32 points coming into that game on the season.
Man.
Wow. I bet they're happy. I bet big time. I mean, you don't pull. There's parties still going on down there in Model.
Yeah, and now they had the big mo going into Murray County and Fannin the next 2 weeks. That Fannin County game is going to be huge now, if they both can survive next Friday night. But you can't ever tell now, you know. I mean, like Ben said the other day, that's why we play the game.
Yep. That's that result that we just saw, or the results we're seeing. That's why you play the game, because you never know. I noticed you didn't have a South Paulding, East Paulding score. I seen a final for it.
Yeah, I know South won, right? I
Yeah,
still don't
South
have one.
Paulding, 37-27.
Still don't have one on Paulding and Noonan.
Give me 1 second.
This kid right here has come in, man, is the last 2 weeks and had a really good performance.
Yeah.
Evan Koger for Dade.
Paulding County beat Newman 32-25.
32-25. Like I said, big game coming up next Friday night in Trenton, man. Darlington heading up there, opening the season up against Dade County. I'm going to have to go back tonight or tomorrow and watch that Darlington game. Sound like a good one.
Yeah, I listened to the last little bit, and Booker and them sounded like they were driving down 8 points. And through interception, I think it derailed the drive. How much they were down, but
It was 27-7 at halftime. Darlington was up. But somebody on here, Gatlin Hancock's dad earlier, he said, how about them Purple Tigers? But he said quarterback for Northwest Whitfield, one of the best he's seen in a long time.
yeah, I heard some stats, over 350 and 5 touchdowns tonight against Darlington. I think Darlington rushed for 277, passed for over 150.
Big night on the ground. Of course, Darlington, they're built for that. They are built with that offensive line they bring is one of the best in the area. I don't care what class you're looking at. Darlington's got it right there.
Yeah, they probably have 3 or 4 D1 offensive linemen across the front, which I don't think anybody else around here even compares, you know. Rome maybe, but
yeah.
Like I said, Dalton, big win, man. Dalton going to Cedartown next Friday night.
Ooh, big
35-3 tonight over Lassiter. And the guy I was talking to said that Tyson Greenwade really didn't play a big part in that. You know, they pretty much held Tyson Greenwade to 4 yards of carry.
Wow.
It was the Dalton defense that got it done for them. 2 pick sixes in the third quarter.
Nice.
Well, when your defense puts 2 touchdowns on the board, I guarantee the odds of you winning go way up.
What did you think about the 6 AAA results tonight, Chris?
Well, I heard that Lafayette turned the ball over right there at the goal line several times, so that cost them quite a few points. And you can't turn that ball over. Penalties and turnovers, they'll get you every time, regardless of what level you're talking about. Pee Wee football or NFL, turnovers and penalties. Yeah. So Ringgold got a big win. So the Ringgold and Creek. Who else is in
Daresville and Bremen with the 14-7.
All got big wins tonight to open region play.
Yeah, I got to thinking on the way home tonight, that was the only game I think worked out the way I said it was going to work out. Bremen and Gordon Lee in a low-scoring game. That was
close.
That was the only one. That was the only one that I got right this week, I think. But yeah, you talking about penalties, man. You know, Chris, you always talk about Brent Washington at Rockmart. Absolute beast, man. Absolute beast. He had a 67-yard touchdown run, outran everybody on the field.
That's 230 pounds.
And it was called back for holding.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
He is a beast with speed.
Yeah. FBS linebacker is what he is.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
waiting on the offers to roll in.
I know. He's going to be up in Knoxville tomorrow for that game.
Yeah.
So I think the Vols are getting close to offering him. Yeah, he's a beast on offense and defense. Just an absolute monster. He looks like a fullback with speed.
Yeah. A lot of speed.
A lot of speed. I was shocked. I was surprised.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only region that kicked off region play, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones with the 8 teams. And they start, so they get 1 week earlier than everybody else. So 7 AA, 7 4A, they'll start next week also.
What about Fannin County, man, putting up 56 points in the first quarter tonight?
On Murphy. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a 56 and a quarter. That's wow.
That's a whole lot of scoring.
Yes.
There's Mr. Casey. What's going on, Mr. Casey?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
That was a huge win tonight for Pickens, huh?
Yeah, man. Last couple of weeks been a part of some crazy ball games up at North Murray and out here. Finally at home turf. Finally get to play in front of the home crowd after basically a month away from the home fans, and it was homecoming, and they got treated to a good one.
Sweet.
You guys get the big task next week of knocking out the Lumpkin Indians, huh?
Yeah.
Big Lumpkin.
Yeah, big test to start off region play. Who would have thought to start off region play next week in 7-3A that Lumpkin would be 4-0, Gilmer would be 3-1, and Dawson would be 2-2, and Pickens would be 1-3, and Wesleyan would be 1-3 as well.
Yeah, I think Ben and I had a pretty good idea that Lumpkin was going to be 4-0 after that springtime. You know,
man, they really impressed me. Physicality and that quarterback, he's tough to stop.
Who do you guys open up with next week, Chris? I think we lost you, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I heard your question. For some reason, my mic is messing up on me. North Murray will be home against Harrelson. So that's an interesting matchup right there. These are two of the teams that everybody seemed to think were going to be in that playoff run, those 4 that stood out. But now that you've got model what they did tonight, now you got 5 teams looking for a playoff spot in 7 AA. So it's just got interesting, real interesting.
And Model's got to be what, team of the week for
team
this
of the
week after doing that?
Absolutely, team of the week.
Yeah, and I go ahead and tell you right now, Lawrence called it. He says Model wins, they're the number 2 seed, so he's going with it. That's his pick.
Yeah, I told him
That's his pick.
I had to stick to it. Model it too.
We can cancel all the 7 AA picks for the rest of the year. Lawrence, we already know Lawrence's picks.
Well, we know who's finishing second, he says.
Yeah.
Rockmart, Model, and whoever else.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I think there's a few other teams that might have something to say about that.
I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised tonight that Harrelson lost at Upson Lee.
Yeah, I thought Upson Lee struggled a little bit with some teams they should have beat. So I was expecting Harrelson to, have a good game there.
What was the final on that one? 29-15? I just come across.
29-15. I still think Harrelson's one of those teams looking for their offense, but we said that last week about Model. And Model found it tonight,
And to say I haven't watched the second of that game. I'm sure I'll try to go back and watch it, but sounds like it was a heck of a game.
Let's see. Next week in 6 AAA, you have Ringgold at Adairsville. That'll be a good one. I think that I think the winner of that game is guaranteed. Not guaranteed because you still got 4 weeks to go, but it's in the driver's seat for a home playoff game.
Adairsville's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for Ringgold. So I don't know if I think everybody in 6 AAA is going to have problems matching up with Ringgold. I think there's probably one team, maybe 2 teams out there that can match up well with them. But Adairsville is going to be tough for Ringgold next week.
Yeah, I think the game of the week next week in 6 AAA is Lafayette going to Bremen. That's almost a must-win game for Lafayette.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bruising, a battle. Both got good run defenses, so we'll see how that works out.
And I think if Bremen wins that one, then they already knocked off Gordon Lee and Lafayette. They have LFO and Ridgeland on their schedule left. I mean, they're looking pretty good for a playoff spot. And you've got LFO and the Creek.
It's going to be another good opportunity for Creek to put their second win up. But LFO, they put up 20 tonight. So I don't know how all that went down, but that's a lot of points to put up on that Adairsville defense, who I thought was going to be more stout than they were. I know Rabin, but Rabin's a different animal. So I know Rabin put up a bunch of points, but I thought they'd be tougher come region play.
Yeah. I think at one point, though, it was 35-7.
Yeah.
I don't know if, like I said, I have no idea if some of the backups got in and LFO scored, or LFO could have scored against the first team. I have no idea. But and the other game is Gordon Lee and Ridgeland. A couple of next door neighbors.
Yep.
Battling.
How long has it been since Gordon Lee and Ridgeland played?
I don't know. We'll have to look that one up. But they're right next door to each other. You'd think they'd played at some point, but
but they've always spent that time in single A and 4A.
Yep.
So this might be interesting.
I'm on it.
That will be an interesting matchup. I can't recall ever hearing those 2 teams playing. It had to have been years and years ago.
I'm going to hop off of here, guys.
All right, Charles. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, y'all have a good one. And, hey, at least we covered the spread tonight. So.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you, Charles. You take it easy.
All right.
Jeff Harrison says Hart County 31, St. Francis 7. St. Francis travels to Christian Heritage next week.
Interesting. Let's see here.
Who will be the next team to actually challenge Carrollton? Carrollton is actually going to have some challenges down the road. I think they're in the same region as Pebblebrook and Westlake. Some pretty good clubs in that.
The last time Gordon Lee and Ridgeland played was in 2009.
Yep.
And it was a 42-0 Ridgeland victory.
And they're on a 4-game win streak as well.
Yeah, but like Chris was saying, man, all those games previously were 4A schools versus single A school.
And also in 2009, Ridgeland won the 6 AAA title. They were 9-2 that year. So that's a.
Here you go, Chris. Thomas Pullum said Adairsville was up 42-7. And they took they took everybody out.
That was kind of close to. Speaking of Ridgeland, that was kind of close to their state championship year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2012 they went 13-2 under Mark Mariakis. They had the same head coach. Mariakis spent some time as a coordinator, I believe, at Chattooga. Very nice guy. Always liked him.
They had that guy Von Bell also that's playing in the pros right now, right?
They
probably
did.
Probably about that same time.
I got to see him. I was calling games on the radio at the time. I got to see him, and then like a freshman or sophomore Shannon Brooks go up against them. Shannon got the best of them, if you believe it or not.
How much does a player like Von Bell just stand out though at the high school level when you saw him? I mean, could you tell he was going to be something else? Or
Yeah, it's crazy. I've gotten to see Von Bell. I've gotten to see Nick Chubb. I've gotten to see Trevor Lawrence, all from standing on the sidelines or being in the same stadium. That it's crazy the amount of talent that's come out of this area in the last several years, and it still goes pretty much unnoticed from, I guess, the whole state. It's still such an underrated area for talent.
underrated? Yeah,
It
so
is very underrated.
yeah. We got 48 schools that we follow, which is a small sample in the whole state of Georgia. I think there's 300 and something high schools in Georgia, and we just follow 48, and just all the names you just said from those 48 schools.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot more coming. I see some talented dudes, young kids coming up too. I think there's a good class of seniors coming out of this area, and I think there's a whole bunch of them coming, a whole bunch of dudes. So.
Our freshman class, man, it's turning out to be awesome, huh? That Jonas Walton down there at Central and Julian Lewis.
Yeah.
Julian.
Oh, yeah, that's phenomenal freshman class.
Carrollton has to go to Pebblebrook and to Westlake, but Pebblebrook lost tonight to Denmark. But I still think both those games will be tough for them.
The Pebblebrook gave Rome a game, didn't they?
Yeah, 30-28. I bet this was a game to see. Von Bell versus Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's something. I mean, you just think about that. You see 22 dudes on the field. There's two of them that are different.
I remember watching Nick Chubb at Lafayette one game, and it's just like nobody could tackle him. It was crazy.
We had a game at Cedartown one year. Chubb went off, did his normal thing, probably ran for like 300, 330. But I think Shannon Brooks was a sophomore at the time, maybe, if I'm remembering right. He had over 100 yards rushing, over 200 yards receiving. And Pickens eked out a win at Cedartown that night. But what was crazy is that same year, Cedartown goes up to LJ, goes up to Gilmer, and they hold him to like 47 yards. That was the most insane stat I've ever seen in my life, because Chubb was just running through the whole region. He was running through the whole state pretty much. And there they go up to little old LJ, Georgia, and he gets held to under 50 yards. That is crazy. I'd put that up in like the hallway or something somewhere if I'm Gilmer. Held Nick Chubb to under 50 yards in high school.
A plaque when you enter the stadium.
Yeah, that's something to be. Yeah.
This is a huge win, Chris, up there. Southeast Whitfield beat our Murchie tonight, 28-21. This is what, the third win for Southeast?
Yes. We had a feeling that they could be 4-1 or 5-0. They're well on their way before they entered region play. And how about Dade County?
Dade County, 14-0 over Swain. Long trip to Bryson City, North Carolina. Got the win.
Much easier trip home when you get the win.
Yeah.
Then they'll have a week of practice, and they'll bring those Darlington Tigers into Magic Morgan.
Magic
Morgan.
Magic Morgan better have some magic next Friday night.
Yeah. And I was looking at the schedule. The Blue Indians are at Coosa, so that should be a really good game.
Yeah, especially on Coosa, back-to-back wins, first time in a couple of years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think they were 1-9 last year, so they didn't.
Then the only other game in that region is the Pepperell Dragons on the road at Chattooga.
And that'll be a good game. I think that's probably the best game of the week in the 7A. The most important game of the week, anyway.
Yeah.
I think they both need a win in that game.
Well, I would say Armurchie and Coosa. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want into playoffs, it starts there. Really, I mean, whichever team wins that game is going to have a big advantage.
I'm still trying to share scores and stats. I'm paying attention. I'm not just.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm over here tweeting scores and stats.
I'm
Go
still
ahead,
trying
man.
to get all these scores.
Yeah, I thought you were falling asleep over there, Chris. I didn't know what was going on.
No, I'm looking. I got to make sure all my followers know who won.
Yeah.
Looking at next week, a big one in 7-3A is Wesleyan going to Gilmer.
That'd be very telling for a lot of people think Wesleyan's going to be a very tough team to deal with in 3A. So
I think they are, and the games that they've lost are some pretty close games. They've only really gotten blown out in one game, and they probably should have beaten North Cobb Christian when you look at it. But we'll see how they deal with Gilmer's triple option attack.
Bowden at Temple.
How about the talent on that field? You know, Bowden at Temple. Those quarterbacks, man, going at it.
Yep.
Yeah, I listened to part of the on the way home. I listened to like the wrap up show or whatever at Pepperell. It sounded like a barn burner back and forth. I think Cam Vaughn had another huge game. You know, they put 35 on the board, just enough to get Pepperell this week.
Yeah, we're kind of at the halfway point in the season right now. So, you know, the player of the year, trying to figure that out. You know, Cam Vaughn's got to be right there at the top of the list. Seth Griffin, Owen Brooker.
If you're going most valuable player, I think Cam Vaughn is definitely one of the most valuable players for his individual team.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he means a lot to that team.
Yeah, I know he was second in the state in touchdowns and total touchdowns coming into that game. Cedartown rolls Dalton next week. Go Dogs. I have no doubt. I think Cedartown rolls everybody between now and the end of the year. There's going to be a few teams that have something to say about that, but I mean, Cedartown looks good. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I went and watched Cedartown last week, and Calhoun has a very good football team, and that was just a bloodbath. I mean, such a physical game. If you don't come and bring the physicality, they're just going to wipe you off the field.
Yeah, you're going to have to catch Cedartown on an off night, I think, to beat them, and those come few and far between.
Yeah, I think looking down their schedule, I don't see any off nights.
Chad Wheat said Model had a big win tonight, considering everybody picked trying to beat them. So we surprised a few folks. Yeah, you surprised at least 3 on this panel, I know.
And 3 computers.
Yeah, and 3 computers. Probably about 500 people sitting on the trying side tonight.
Massey, Maxwell, and Cal Preps were very surprised as well.
Yeah, that's I mean that's what we play the game for, though. Like we said,
yeah, that's what they say. Game's not played on paper.
Yeah,
I think the thing that surprises me the most is if you told me Model had won 3-0, 7-6, I would have been like, oh, that's cool. But they scored 31 points to win that game.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested. I may get off of here in a little bit and go back and watch that game because I'm interested to see what happened.
Yeah,
I totally. I haven't seen, like you said, they hadn't scored 30 points all year, and it sounded like, from what I heard, that Model threw the ball successfully tonight.
Yeah, that's what Chad Wheat just texted us over. He said Model aired it out tonight.
That's yeah, I didn't even see that, but yeah,
it just came across right when you said that.
I just heard the Trine announcers on the at the end of the game when Trine was trying to go down. They said they were very impressed with the passing game of Model.
4 touchdown passes over 50 yards.
Wow. That's something you don't normally see out of Model. I haven't.
No, not at all.
I've watched Model back 2017, 2018, a couple games a year, and I've never seen that.
Hey, Chad, if you're still on, how many touchdowns did Jolly have tonight, and did they throw any to the big guy?
And was it was it actual deep shots or were they like tunnel screens that somebody busted out for 50? Just give us a rundown of the game there.
Yeah,
Chad.
yeah, Chad.
Yeah,
Tell
just
us
tell
what
us
happened.
everything that happened.
Yeah.
Give us the play-by-play.
We get all kind of questions here.
And can we get a box score while you're at it?
It's a little early for the box score. It ain't like ESPN. It doesn't update immediately.
We gotta wait till at least Monday for that.
With all the computer systems and stuff out here these days, I'm not sure why there's not a system out there that could update immediately. You know what I mean?
I think Huddle may do it
Really?
as it's doing. I think I'm not 100% on that. I think
Kind of a
Huddle
rough
has
draft.
I know there's a robot program for Huddle that records tackles and yards. I don't know all the details about it. I know they have it. I know they keep stats that way.
Yeah, Chad said there was no new quarterback for Model tonight, and he took a couple of deep shots.
Yeah,
Wow.
I figured it was Silver. He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, guys, I got to get off here. I've been up early, worked all day, and then watched football all night. It's a great life, I tell you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Chris, we'll see you, man.
All right, I'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Hosea.
Yeah, man, that was really the biggest upset of the night. I mean, like I said, the biggest upset in the 4 years I've been keeping up with the numbers. 33-point underdog.
Wow.
It beat the North Murray over Calhoun by two points. As far as other upsets go of the night, I mean, Coosa, they were 12-point underdog. They won. Congratulations to the Eagles. Well, I think we all had that one picked on the Pick'em show.
Yeah.
Except for Chris, probably. No.
I think I did pick Coosa. I don't remember.
Yeah. You actually took a 1-game lead on me tonight.
And I missed my upset special. It looks like the Brookstone team was pretty good.
Yeah, and I picked Mount Zion also, so we're even on that one. You got me in Darlington and Irwin County, and I got you on Paulding County. If Paulding County beat Noonan, like I said, you said you
They
saw
did.
it final, right?
Yeah. I put it in there. Paulding County beat Noonan. I don't remember the score.
Let's see what
It's
Chad.
on the thing.
Yeah, trying to always play tough. Try and play tough even when they were 3-7 back in the day. Trying's always been a tough bunch of kids.
Yeah, 32-25 was the Paulding score, and I agree. Tryon has a rich tradition of having a good football team. I mean, it's the way it is. It's the way it's been.
Yeah, I hated it last year that we missed that Tryon-Dade game. I thought that was going to be the game of the century. I was looking forward to that one.
I agree, and
I guess we get to see it this year, though, right?
yeah, I think this one could be interesting. And I don't want to say it takes a little luster off of Game 10 because I think it still could very well be, Darlington and Tryon for the region title in the last week of the season. But it would have been a lot more dramatic if they both had zeros on the end of their 10-0 or whatever.
Yeah, I have to agree with Max here.
Yeah,
he thinks Pepperell's going to do real good in region play, man. Play a tough game against Temple. I mean, you got to throw the Dragons' name in that hat,
Yeah, I agree.
Pepperell's well coached. I mean, they have a lot of kids and talent, tradition. That's why I think that game next Friday in Chattooga is going to be a huge one, especially for the Red Indians, man. If they come out and win that one, I think the Red Indians in good shape, huh?
I gotta share this one.
Yeah. Well, Jake, that's because he is, man. He's getting off here and going straight to the golf course. I guarantee you.
No, man.
He's gonna be asleep in his car out in the parking lot.
I do play a lot of golf, though. I will say that I play a lot of golf. My home course is, well, I guess it's my home course. It's about 12 minutes from my house. I'm a member up there. Little Mo Run up on Mentone Mountain. I play with a bunch of guys up there. It's a little executive course, a little par 69. It's a little fun one. It makes you feel better about yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have to apologize, Jake, because I probably look like I just got back from Roy's little garden with a 6-pack.
Brown bagging it over there.
Brown bag.
Oh, I actually knew a couple of the officials tonight. I mean, obviously Atwater was there. We knew Atwater was at one game that I saw, and then I had an ex-boss that was one of the officials tonight. That's interesting. I didn't know he worked with Atwater.
How many flags Atwater throw tonight, man? Was he throwing them like crazy?
I know he had a holding flag, and then I think maybe one, maybe another. I don't know. He might. It looked like when Billy Settlemore slammed to one kid, I think everybody threw their flag on that one. A couple flags come from the stands, but you know, when the guy don't want to go down, I mean, Billy's just trying to get him down and ends up slamming him on his head. That ain't good. The last person I seen do that for Chattooga plays defensive line at Troy University, and I think he's got a good shot at being in the pros one day. So
Yeah.
I'll give old Big Lou a plug, Louis Medina.
Yeah, he'll be
We
playing
had
tomorrow, man. Game of the week or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're playing
Game
at Appalachian State, ain't they?
Yep.
Yeah, game day's there.
All eyes. I believe he's number 95. Should be in the middle of that D line.
Luke Combs down there doing the
Yeah.
celebrity guest picking. He's
Yep.
definitely picking Troy.
Yeah, Appalachian State beat Texas A&M, took the shine off of them, and sends the game day up to Appalachian.
Up to Boone.
Yep.
Which I heard on from listening to the Pat McAfee show, I heard they're like 3,500 feet above sea level in that area. I didn't know that. But we had a German suplex in the Pickens Christian Heritage game.
The belly to
One of
back
the,
suplex.
Yeah, one of the linemen for Pickens grabbed the running back and German suplexed him a little bit. I'm over here on the sideline saying he took him to Suplex City.
Pulled a Lesnar on him, huh?
Man.
I saw
not as violent as Lesnar, but
yeah, they little show on that. But anyway, I saw where Buford continued to roll, but it was a close one early against Carver. That Carver Atlanta team, I see they're 3-1. Only lost to Buford. Shoot, I remember when Carver Atlanta. Man, I went down there one year when Chattooga played them, and there was a punter. I don't even remember what year. This might have been the late 90s, and he bent over to pull his socks up, and they snapped it clear over his head out of the back of the end zone. It was, and you know, those days are over. It seems like for those guys, they got plenty of athletes down there.
And they are the second best team in that region. Cedar Shoals.
You know, I think Buford, they're tough, man.
Yeah.
Ranked nationally, only gave up 44 points so far in 4 games.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to beat them.
Do you would you give Carrollton a chance at Buford right now?
A chance. I give them a chance.
there's always a chance. As we saw tonight with Model and Tryon, there's always a chance.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Massey says about that particular matchup.
About 20 points, probably.
Think so? I'll pull it up.
Y'all think Cartersville gets challenged any?
I think Calhoun challenges them.
Yeah, Calhoun a challenge, but I think Carsville will have enough late. I think it'll be similar to the Cedartown game. Buford and let's just say,
Like I said, if you just joining us, man, the big story of the night: Model Blue Devils over Tryon Bulldogs, 31-27. No one saw it coming except for all those people on the model sidelines. Tim hopped in here with us earlier, man. Then his screen went black. I don't know if somebody got him or he got abducted.
Needed
that's
them to
not
talk
good.
about that. Needed them to talk about that skirmish that happened in that game.
He was talking about that 56 points that Fannin put up tonight in the first quarter, and then the screen went black, and I was like, oh.
Man.
But
I'm looking here, 26, no, excuse me. 16-point spread right now. 16. Not bad.
not bad.
You talked about who does Rome have next week? Rome was on bye this week, right?
Yeah, Rome is hosting Alatoona next Friday night.
I think Altoona had a pretty an interesting game tonight.
I know they took either South Paulden or North Paulden to the wire first week of the season.
Yeah, I heard our main man on the call tonight of the Creekview game over
Arthur
there.
Mosley.
Yeah. Creekview beat Altoona 24-22. I think that puts Creekview in a pretty good spot in that region.
Yeah, Jake says Carrollton will have to get through Grayson or Parkview if they want Buford.
That'll be tough. Especially Grayson. Grayson seems like they're rolling again.
Yeah.
Collins Hill's taking a step back. They got beat pretty bad by Sandy Creek tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's it, Tia. Yeah, absolutely. Tia Pepper was the favorite, 7-point favorites, man. Temple got them 35-28. Heard Cam Vaughn had another big game. Just big game after big game for Cam Vaughn down there at Temple, man. I'm looking forward to October when Temple and Hurd play each other. They got Bowden coming to town next Friday night. That's going to be a good one. I think Tia's a Bowden fan, so.
The Temple, man, it's like all the other teams. Like I didn't really expect them to be as successful, and then they put up a bunch of points, and then I mean, there's a lot of teams I could say that. Like obviously Tryon tonight they scored points, but you expected that Tryon defense to kind of muffle the model offense, and it sounds like from all accounts that the pass game really just threw trying for a loop a little bit.
Yeah. Temple said they won't Bowden. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, you don't have any choice. Friday night they're going to be out there playing, and I hope it's a great game. Like I said, two of the best quarterbacks in our area for sure. Senior quarterbacks, definitely.
Man, that's gonna be a tough pick right there.
Robert McNeil versus Cam Vaughn and all those other cast of characters they have on both sides.
That's gonna be a tough one. I can tell you that. Oh man,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of a short list of games next week, man. I think a lot of people are taking the mid-year break. Next week is the mid-year, and not a lot of great games next Friday night.
Yeah, I think the regions that I've seen, there's only about 3 in each region.
Tia's got some advice for you, man. She said this game you pick with your defense. Whoever has the best defense, you go with.
Well, I know
Trying to help me out for sure.
I hear you. I need some help too.
Yeah.
I need to stay ahead of Mr. Lawrence there. Honestly, I pulled up the Massey, and Massey has Bowden as a 14-point favorite.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, as far as the computer goes, I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, because Bowden's had some pretty big wins, In Central, I think they played them pretty close earlier in the year. 35-21, man, which is great for 4A versus single A.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you got that size difference. I mean, how did Central's running back do tonight? You hear anything on Central?
I didn't hear anything. They won 27-17, which is about in line with the spread, but haven't heard any yardage or anything.
I know he's been turning some heads. He's been impressive.
I mean, the kid's averaging 12.5 yards a carry, man. That's crazy for a freshman. Crazy for anybody.
That'll be his big test will be when he goes up against the Cedartown defense.
I saw a guy this week though when I was checking out the huddle that compared to him though. Nunu Watley that played at Rockmart, who's now at Tennessee Chattanooga. He has a little brother that's playing for Hiram. He's a junior. He's got 23 carries for 490 yards, which is like 23 yards a carry. Absolute speedster.
Hmm. And this guy, Jonez Walton, he's just going to get bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, he's probably 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah, he's just an all-around athlete too, man. I saw last year on the middle school level, he was like competing in the state track for shot put, high jump, 100, 200 meter, just an all-around athlete.
Central's got some kids on the come up, that's for sure.
Yeah, in 2 weeks they'll be in Cedartown. Cedartown's got Dalton and they play Central.
Oof, collision. There's going to be a lot of collisions in that game.
Eli Barrow will do his best to stop that run game. Absolutely. Barrow, I think, is the best linebacker I've seen so far this year. As far as stats go, the kid's averaging 15.5 tackles a game all over the place.
Cedartown, I mean, they were stingy. The only thing they really gave up to Calhoun in that game last week was a few slants, little passes over the middle. And then offensively, when you get their offense out there, you don't know who's going to carry the ball. I mean, if the big man gets the ball at the middle, you better chain yourself to the ground, or he's just going to drag you. And then you got all kind of speedsters. And then if the quarterback rolled around, and he was able to, he moved very well in the pocket and threw the ball pretty well too at times. So.
Yeah, that quarterback they've got is also a baseball player. He's a pitcher for him. He does pretty well for them. He's pretty athletic. It's an interesting offense that they run because they'll take as much time on the play clock as they're allowed to, and then they'll just run up to the line and then hike it. They don't give defense any time to just get set and get ready.
I could tell you just by watching the game last week, when you get lulled to sleep by that little speed sweep or maybe a toss or fullback up the middle, man, it's hard to stay focused on who you're guarding coming out of that pile of people because I mean they're packed in there, and all it takes is one guy to slip by you and a little play action, and it's in the end zone.
That's what Irwin County tonight, man, against Rockmart. That's what they did. Like I said, they're the most boring. I text somebody during the game, said they're the most boring good team I've ever seen. It's just 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. Then they hit a little pass on you for 15. Then go back and run.
Yeah. They just beat you up. I
bet.
do have a final for y'all if y'all are interested. I got Union County beat West Hall 48-7. So Union
Woof.
is on their roll, continuing their roll.
Union getting it done.
Them boys in the mountains
Getting
are
the
playing,
home
man.
win. Getting the home win against West Hall.
Yeah, I watched Calhoun Cedartown last week. Calhoun's a lot better than their record.
Yeah.
Played very good teams. Yeah, that's what we said this week. That I thought Calhoun was going to come out tonight and do what they did because I mean they've played top-notch opponents every week. I mean, not that Sonoraville's not, but I knew Calhoun would be fired up tonight.
Man. Where you going to be at next week, Lawrence? Have you decided?
I haven't decided yet. I have to work next Friday night, so it's got to be someplace close. I'll probably just go out to Coosa and watch Coosa and Armurchie.
That would be that should be a good game. I think
Yeah.
that would be a good one. Who does Pickens have next week?
Well, we got them Indians up in Dahlonega.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, I think that's a tough one too. You got to go to Lumpkin.
Yep.
Man, y'all don't get any.
Only 4 home games all year.
Don't get any breaks.
And tonight was the first one.
Yeah. Pickens was our big one of our upset teams of the night. That's a huge win for you guys.
Be the first time playing Lumpkin since 2009. So it's a long time coming there.
Yeah, Cooper Scott is the quarterback that we seen earlier in the year, and he's the one that's been doing the damage. 6 foot, about 200 pound quarterback from Lumpkin.
They've got that Cal Faulkner kid. I think he's a sophomore. He's a big time basketball player for them.
Yeah.
Out on the football field doing some things.
Tia says tough schedule prepares you, and she should know, man. With Bowden,
Yeah.
Bowden plays the toughest schedule around, man. They're not scared of anybody.
Iron sharpens iron. Yep. A lot of pressure, and I've heard a lot of coaches over the days say pressure is a privilege. So go in there and put yourself under pressure, and the better you're gonna be.
That's the thing. Like we talked about how tough Pickens' out of region schedule was, going to Sonoraville, going to North Murray, going to Fannin, and then finally hosting a good Christian Heritage team. I think Christian Heritage is going to do some things in their region, get a playoff spot there. That while you don't want to go into your region play 1-3, it gets you ready for the real season, because the real season is coming up, and those games that you got coming up are what matter.
Well, guys, I always end the show with our biggest surprise of the night, but I guess there's no really question tonight, huh?
No.
Yeah.
That might be the surprise. That might end up being the surprise of the season.
Yep. And Lawrence has motto at second and 7AA.
Second 7AA. I tell you what, I'm gonna do like you, Benton. As soon as I get off here, I'm gonna go watch the game and figure out what's going on.
I'm gonna go watch it myself.
They have
You'll need don't you have one of their helmets, Lawrence?
Yeah, I do. I should have busted it out this week. I should have had it on.
You need to display that proudly.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to see that one, and I want to see the Darlington game.
Yep.
For sure.
I might see a little bit of both here in a minute.
All right, man.
We'll see y'all next week.
Good night.
We'll see y'all.